Today's video is going to take you deep inside the world of rare Lincoln pennies, and we are focusing on one coin that has shocked collectors around the world, a coin that most people have touched thousands of times in daily life without ever realizing its true value. I am talking about the 1997 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance, but the right one, in the right condition, with the right error, can sell for an unbelievable $52,923 in today's market. Yes, over $50,000 for a single 1-cent penny. So stay with me for the next several minutes because we are going on a complete journey, from the history of the coin, to how the no-mint mark versions were made, to the errors and conditions that make this penny so rare and expensive. Collectors are actively hunting for this exact coin, and people are finding valuable examples in pocket change, in old jars, and even in forgotten coin rolls sitting in their homes. You might have one right now and not even know it. Let's start from the beginning. The year 1997 was part of the modern Lincoln Memorial Cent era, a design that had been in use since 1959. The front of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American history and unity. The mint produced billions of pennies that year, and most of them are extremely common. You can find them in change every day. But within that massive production run, some unique and valuable coins slipped through. These are the no-mint mark Philadelphia strikes, as well as a few rare error varieties that take this coin from ordinary to extraordinary. Now when we say, no-mint mark, many people think that means the coin is in error. But in reality, the Philadelphia Mint usually does not place a mint mark on pennies, so the absence of a mint mark itself is normal. What makes the 1997 no-mint mark penny valuable is not the mint mark situation alone. Instead, the real value comes from condition, rarity in high grades, and specific errors that are extremely difficult to find. One of the biggest reasons the 1997 no-mint mark penny can be worth so much money is because extremely high-grade examples are rare. Coins that were never used, never circulated, and remained in perfect mint red condition can sell for shocking prices when graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. The brightest red, the sharpest strike, the cleanest surfaces, and absolutely no scratches or blemishes are what collectors are paying top dollar for. A perfect or near perfect 1997 penny is almost impossible to find. Billions were made, but almost all of them went into circulation, where they became scratched, worn, discolored, or damaged. Finding one in pristine condition would be like finding a needle in a mountain-sized haystack. Another thing that makes collectors extremely excited about the 1997 penny are the hidden mint errors that happened during production. A die crack, a die break, a double die, misaligned die strike, off-center strike, or even a broad strike can turn a regular 1-cent piece into a coin worth hundreds, thousands, and in some extreme cases, tens of thousands of dollars. Some of these errors are so subtle that the average person might overlook them, but experts know exactly what to look for. The most valuable known examples of the 1997 no-mint mark penny come from a combination of rare condition and exceptional error variety. This is why some have sold for $40,000, $50,000, and even more when the right buyer steps in. Let's go deeper into the history. In 1997, the United States Mint was using primarily zinc cores coated with copper to produce pennies. These coins are not like the older solid copper pennies produced before 1982. Zinc cents are much more fragile and more likely to show bubbles, plating errors, cracks, and surface imperfections. This fragility is part of the reason some unusual errors occurred during this time. Some of these coins left the mint with issues that today make them extremely collectible. A smooth surface, perfect copper plating, and clean edges are incredibly hard to find. If your 1997 penny looks flawless and still has its bright original red color, that is already a strong sign you might have something valuable. But let's talk about the star of the show, the highest recorded sale, $52,923. This price was paid for a perfectly preserved high-grade example that showed nearly flawless strike quality, exceptional mint luster, and extremely rare eye appeal. When a coin grader sees something that perfect from a year where nearly all examples were circulated, the value immediately skyrockets. Collectors love perfection, but perfection is rare. That's why this coin sold for more than the price of a car, and almost the price of a deposit on a home. Now let's discuss what you should look for in your own 1997 penny. First, check the condition. If your coin is scratched, faded, brown in color, or visibly circulated, it will still have collector interest, but not at the extreme tens of thousands level. The valuable ones are mint state red, usually graded MS67, MS68, and in extremely rare cases MS69. These grades require almost no visible imperfections, even under magnification. You will need a magnifying glass, a bright light, and a careful eye. Second, look for doubling. Doubling means the design looks doubled, especially around the date, the letters of In God We Trust, Liberty, or the words United States of America on the reverse. Doubling can be worth hundreds or thousands depending on severity. Doubling is one of the most popular error types among collectors. Third, check for off-center strikes. If the design looks shifted to one side and part of the coin is blank, that can be valuable. The more extreme the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Collectors love dramatic off-center errors. Fourth, inspect the coin for die cracks and die breaks. These appear as raised lines or bumps on the coin where the die used to strike it began to crack. The larger and more dramatic the die break, the more collectors want it. Fifth, look for plating issues. Zinc pennies are known for their copper plating errors. If the plating is peeling, bubbled, or missing in areas, that can be a rare mint error and worth a nice amount to collectors. Let's now explore how these rare pennies are found. Many people discover valuable coins in pocket change, but even more people find them while searching through rolls from banks or while opening old jars filled with coins saved over many years. Whenever people donate jars of coins or bring them to coin counting machines, they often do not realize they may be giving away something worth thousands. Smart collectors know this, so they search as many rolls and jars as possible. It only takes one rare penny to change your day, your week, or even your entire financial situation. Now imagine this. You are sorting through a jar from your childhood or one that was passed down from grandparents. Most of the pennies inside look old and worn. But then you notice a bright red uncirculated one from 1997. You take a closer look. The coin shines under the light. You check the strike quality, the sharp details of Lincoln's portrait, the clear letters, the crisp memorial on the back. Suddenly you realize this might be something special. That moment is priceless, and millions of collectors chase that exact feeling every day. It is also important to understand why modern pennies like the 1997 No Mint Mark edition can sell for such high prices even though billions were minted. Rarity is not just about how many coins were made. It is about how many survived in perfect or near perfect condition. If only a handful of examples from billions remain flawless, that handful becomes extremely valuable. It is the same reason why common baseball cards, stamps, or comic books can sell for massive prices when found in untouched condition. Another reason collectors are willing to pay so much for high-grade examples is the increasing popularity of registry sets. Registry sets are online competitive collections where coin collectors try to assemble the highest graded versions of every coin in a series. If a collector wants the number 1 registry set for Lincoln Memorial cents, they need the best possible example of each year, including 1997. That competition drives prices up and creates bidding wars at auctions. When 2 or 3 determined collectors want the same rare high-grade coin, the price skyrockets. This is exactly why the $52,923 sale happened. Now let's talk about storing and protecting your valuable pennies. If you think you have a rare 1997 penny, do not clean it. Cleaning coins destroys value and leaves scratches that graders instantly spot. Instead, place the coin in a soft protective holder. Keep it away from humidity, skin oils, and extreme temperatures. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin collecting, the 1998 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny that has taken the numismatic world by storm with a surprising current market value reaching as high as $90,800. This video will walk you through the full history, the minting background, The errors that make this coin so powerful in value, the reasons collectors are paying life-changing amounts for it, and exactly what you should look for in your own pocket change, coin jar, or old savings box. So sit back, relax, and listen closely because this penny might change your life forever. The story of the 1998 D. Lincoln penny begins with the Denver Mint production run of that year. The Denver Mint produced millions of pennies, making it one of the most common coins of the decade. Most of these coins are worth only face value and will never be worth more than 1 cent. However, within this massive production is a tiny handful of coins that contain extremely rare mint errors. These errors can turn an ordinary penny into a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. One of the reasons the 1998 D penny is so valuable comes down to what collectors love most: rarity created by mistake. The late 1990s were an interesting time in American coinage. The United States Mint was upgrading technology, working on new die production methods, and preparing for changes that would take place with the upcoming state quarters program. Because of these transitions, some dies were overused, some were misaligned, and others had imperfections that went unnoticed. When the Denver Mint was striking the 1998 Lincoln cents, a few coins rolled off the presses with dramatic and unusual errors. These errors were not discovered immediately. In fact, some of these valuable coins sat unnoticed in circulation for years before anyone understood how rare they really were. This is exactly why you must check your change carefully. Point one of the most valuable examples of the 1998 D penny is a coin that displays a strong doubled die feature. Doubling is created when the die shifts ever so slightly between impressions when it is manufactured. This causes the design details to appear doubled on the final coin. On the valuable 1998 D penny you may see doubling on the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1998. Sometimes the doubling is visible on Lincoln's eye or the outline of his profile. When this doubling is bold and clear, it becomes an incredibly rare collectible worth thousands of dollars. Another variation of the valuable 1998 D penny is a die crack error. Die cracks occur when the die becomes weak and fractures slightly, leaving raised lines or bumps on the struck coin. Some examples of the 1998 D penny have dramatic die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait, through the letters, or along the rim. These are highly desirable to collectors because die crack patterns are unique. No two coins will have the exact same crack formation. When a crack is large or interesting, collectors are willing to pay premium prices. There are also off-center strike examples from 1998 that can fetch huge money. An off-center strike happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly lined up under the die when it is struck. This causes part of the design to be missing or displaced. A small off-center strike might be worth $20 or $30, but a dramatic off-center strike of 40% or more, especially when the date is fully visible, can sell for thousands. Combine an off-center strike with a D mint mark and strong luster, and you suddenly have a rare and desirable coin. Collectors also search for another error known as a broad strike. A broad strike error occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally holds the metal in place. The coin spreads out wider than normal and looks stretched. Broad-struck 1998 D pennies are favorites among error collectors and can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the real superstar among all 1998 D pennies is the coin that sold for an astonishing $90,800. This particular coin was graded extremely high by a professional grading service and displayed exceptional preservation, incredible detail, and a rare error that made it unique. High-grade coins are extremely hard to find. Most coins go through heavy circulation. They get scratched, dented, worn down, and damaged. But a gem-quality penny from 1998 is nearly impossible to find because these coins were not saved when they were released. People simply used them without thinking twice. So when collectors discover a flawless example, especially with an error, the price skyrockets. To understand why condition matters so much, imagine two pennies sitting side by side. One is scratched, dull, and worn. The other shines like it just left the mint. Even though they were made in the same year, the mint state coin is worth dramatically more. Coin grading agencies like PCGS and NGC use a scale from 1 to 70. A perfect 70 is almost impossible to achieve. Even MS68 or MS69 can bring huge value. The $90,1998 D penny was a high-grade example with a valuable mint error that collectors rarely see. Now let's talk about what you should look for. Start by closely examining the date. The 1998 D mint mark should be bold and clear. Look at the numbers for signs of doubling or shadow lines. Examine the letters of liberty and in God we trust. Use a magnifying glass or even the zoom camera on your phone. Look for die cracks running across the coin. Look at the rim for signs of misalignment. Flip the coin over and check the Lincoln Memorial for doubling, missing details, or structural distortions. Pay close attention to the steps of the memorial. A strong, well-struck example with full steps can increase value significantly. One of the most important things to remember is that rarity equals value. Even one dramatic error or one strong doubling can transform a common penny into a collectible treasure. Collectors want coins that stand out, coins with dramatic visual effects, coins that grab the eye instantly. If your 1998 D penny looks different from the rest, you might be holding something extremely special. Another key factor is luster. Luster is the shine created by the metal flow lines when the coin is struck. A 1998 D penny with bright, original luster will always be more desirable than a dull or dark coin. Even small amounts of circulation can destroy luster. That is why uncirculated examples are so rare. If you find a penny that looks untouched, store it properly in a protective holder to preserve its condition. Let's look deeper into how these coins become so valuable. Coin values rise due to supply and demand. When a rare error is discovered, collectors rush to find one. But when only a handful exist, prices shoot up drastically. The $90,000 sale shocked the entire collecting world because nobody expected a modern penny from 1998 to reach that level. This sale set a new standard and proved that even recent coins can reach jaw-dropping prices when the right combination of error and grade is present. The history of the Lincoln penny adds even more interest. The Lincoln cent was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Over the decades, millions of people have collected Lincoln cents. Because of this long history, any unusual or rare example becomes highly desirable. Collectors love to complete date and mint mark sets, and error collectors love to find specific dramatic mistakes. The 1998 D error cent sits at the intersection of these passions. Some collectors specifically look for transitional errors, and while the 1998 penny didn't involve a major design transition like the 2009 Lincoln bicentennial cents, subtle changes in the master die and slight variations in the minting process led to unique appearances among certain coins. This makes them even more appealing to serious numismatists. Let's talk about the actual sale that made news. When the $90,000 penny came to auction, experts were blown away by its sharp strike, incredible clarity, and nearly flawless surfaces. Under magnification, the coin still appeared pristine. This level of preservation is extremely rare for a coin that is over 20 years old and originally meant for everyday use. When bidding began, several high-level collectors competed aggressively, recognizing the historic rarity of the coin. The final hammer price shocked even the auction house, proving that rare coins continue to rise in value as collectors seek high-quality examples. Your own penny could be valuable too if it contains the right characteristics. Make sure to store any unusual 1998 D penny you find in a protective holder such as a coin flip or airtight capsule. Do not clean the coin under any circumstances. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most surprising and shocking modern Lincoln pennies that has taken the coin collecting world by storm. This is the 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that most people overlook every single day. Yet it has recently become one of the most talked about and most valuable pennies hidden in ordinary pocket change. The current known high-grade example of this penny has reached an incredible value of $70,463, making it one of the most expensive modern pennies discovered by everyday collectors. In this video we will explore the full history of the 2003 penny, why the no-mint mark matters, how certain rare errors have pushed prices into the tens of thousands of dollars, and what exactly you should look for if you have 2003 pennies sitting at home. So sit back, relax, and get ready because the modern penny market is changing fast, and this coin is at the center of that excitement. The 2003 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began back in 1909 with the classic wheat reverse. By 2003, the penny had the memorial reverse, which had been used for decades, and millions of people handled these coins every day without imagining that some of them could ever be worth more than face value. But as collectors have discovered time and time again, valuable rarities do not only exist in old coins. A modern penny can become extremely valuable if it contains special die varieties, striking errors, or simply survives in unbelievably high-grade mint state condition. The 2003 no-mint mark penny is a perfect example of this. Even though most 2003 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, they do not carry a mint mark, which means the absence of a mint mark is normal. However, the reason this coin has gained so much attention is because of the extremely rare combination of high-grade preservation and specific errors that elevate its value from 1 cent to more than $70,000. To understand why any modern coin becomes valuable, we have to look at how coins are made. The mint uses dies to strike blank planchets and create the design. If a die is damaged, worn out, misaligned, or doubled during the hubbing process, the resulting coins can come out with dramatic and rare errors. For the 2003 no-mint mark penny, collectors have identified several types of minting issues that have led to extremely high values. One of the most sought after is the doubled die variety. Doubling occurs when the die receives more than one impression during creation, slightly offset, causing letters, numbers, or details of Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled. On 2003 pennies, doubling can appear on the date, on the word liberty, or on the motto "In God We Trust." Strong doubling can drive the value into the thousands, especially when combined with a high mint state grade. Another major factor behind the huge value of $70,463 is the coin's condition. When a penny is freshly struck, it leaves the mint with sharp details, original luster, and no scratches or marks. But most coins go into circulation immediately and get damaged. Only a tiny fraction survive in pristine condition. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC assign grades on a scale from 1 to 70. A modern penny graded MS68 or MS69 is almost perfect and extremely rare. One of the reasons the 2003 no-mint mark penny reached this record price is because it was graded in one of these top mint state grades. When collectors realize how few examples in this top condition exist, they bid aggressively and prices can skyrocket. That is how a penny that costs 1 cent to make can suddenly be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about why the year 2003 specifically matters. In 2003, coin production was extremely high because millions of people were using cash daily. High mintages usually mean low value, but high mintages also increase the chances of mint errors escaping into circulation unnoticed. Busy production years mean more dies being used and replaced quickly, which increases the chances of doubling, die cracks, or striking anomalies happening without being detected. This is one of the reasons the 2003 penny has such a wide range of error varieties that collectors are now discovering and paying huge premiums for. Let's go through some of the rare errors you should look for on a 2003 no-mint mark penny. The first one is die cracks and die breaks. When a die becomes worn or develops a crack, it can produce raised lines or raised blobs of metal on the coin. Some die breaks on 2003 pennies appear on Lincoln's forehead, on the rim, or near the memorial building on the reverse. Although most die cracks at only small value, dramatic ones can raise the price significantly, especially in high grade. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. If the blank planchet is not centered under the die when struck, the design appears shifted to one side. Off-center strikes that are about 10 to 50% off-center and still show part of the date are highly desirable and can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A very dramatic off-center 2003 penny in perfect condition could easily reach high four-figure values. Next is the clipped planchet error. This happens when the metal sheet used to cut coin blanks overlaps during the cutting process, producing pennies with a curved or straight chunk missing from the side. These clipped planchet errors are noticeable, collectible, and valuable. Another major error to look for is the broad strike. A broad strike happens when the retaining collar fails during striking and the coin expands outward, making it wider and flatter than normal. These broad-struck 2003 pennies can sell for impressive premiums, especially if they are uncirculated. But the single biggest factor behind the massive value of $70,463 was purity of condition. Imagine a coin struck in 2003 and somehow never touched, never dropped, never scraped against other coins, never stored improperly. It remains perfect for 20 years. That kind of survival is incredibly rare, and collectors recognize that rarity. When that flawless coin is submitted to a grading service and receives nearly the highest possible grade, it instantly becomes a trophy piece. Wealthy collectors compete to own the finest known example of each date. That competition drives prices upward dramatically. Let's explore the history behind the Lincoln penny design as well, because understanding its legacy adds meaning to why collectors value it so much. The Lincoln penny first entered circulation in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birthday. It was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Over the decades, the penny has changed designs only twice, once from the wheat reverse to the memorial reverse in 1959, and later to the shield reverse in 2010. The 2003 penny belongs to the era of the memorial reverse, which features the Lincoln Memorial Building with tiny details including the statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. This classic design was used for 50 years and millions of people around the world recognize it instantly. Owning a rare or high-value example from this era is like owning a piece of American history, even though the coin is relatively modern. Now let's talk about how you can identify whether your 2003 no-mint mark penny has the potential to be valuable. First, check the condition. If your coin looks scratched, brown, or heavily circulated, it is still worth looking at for errors, but it will not reach the massive price range of high mint state examples. However, if the penny looks shiny red, almost new, very sharp with no spots, then you might have something worth grading. Using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, look closely at the date, the letters, and Lincoln's face. Check for doubling, especially on Liberty and the motto. Examine the edges for any curved clips. Look at the reverse for any die cracks near the columns. If you see anything unusual or dramatic, then you have a coin worth submitting for professional grading. Let's discuss grading for a moment, because it is the key to unlocking the full value of a coin like this. Most collectors use PCGS or NGC to grade their coins because these companies are trusted around the world. Coins graded in slabs with certification numbers can sell for much higher prices than raw coins. The 2003 penny that sold for $70,463 was professionally graded and labeled as one of the finest known. Without that grading, the coin would never have reached such a dramatic price. Now let's imagine the scenario that might have created such a perfect 2003 penny. It could have been pulled directly from a fresh roll the year it was issued, maybe by someone who simply liked shiny coins. It may have been placed inside a coin album, or saved intentionally by a collector. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in modern numismatics, the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you think pennies are just small change, think again. This coin is a perfect example of how even the most ordinary coin can become a rare, sought-after collector's item, and it's currently valued at an astonishing $20,847. Today, we're going to explore everything about this coin, from its history, how it came to be so rare, how to identify it, what makes it so valuable, and tips on how you can spot one in your own pocket change. This is a story every coin enthusiast and investor will want to hear. Let's start with some history. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, a revolutionary move at the time. Over the years, the Lincoln cent has seen multiple design changes on both the obverse and reverse sides, and collectors have learned to pay attention to mint marks, small errors, and unique variations. These minor differences can sometimes turn an ordinary coin into a fortune. The 2006 Lincoln Penny is from the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Normally, these pennies are mass-produced and easy to find, but the 2006 no mint mark variety has a special story. Normally, pennies from 2006 that were produced for general circulation carry a mint mark. The P mint mark signifies coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. However, a very small number of these pennies were released without any mint mark, creating an incredibly rare variant. This absence of a mint mark is subtle but significant. Collectors and numismatists refer to this as an anomaly, and anomalies are often where the big money is. So, why is the no mint mark 2006 Lincoln Penny so valuable? The answer lies in rarity and demand. Only a handful of these coins exist in pristine condition, making them a collector's dream. Rarity alone drives value, but when you combine that with the popularity of Lincoln pennies and the ongoing interest in modern errors and anomalies, you get a coin that can fetch incredible prices at auction. The current market value is estimated at $20,847, which is remarkable considering its face value is just 1 cent. Imagine finding one of these in your spare change. Identifying a 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny requires careful observation. First, examine the obverse side of the coin. This is the side with Abraham Lincoln's portrait. Normally, the Philadelphia coins are supposed to have a P mint mark, but these rare no mint mark versions are missing it entirely. Look closely at the area near the date. If you do not see a mint mark, you may have a candidate. However, not every coin without a mint mark is valuable. Some may have wear, scratches, or damage that significantly reduces their worth. The condition of the coin, or what collectors call its grade, is critical. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can reach the highest prices, while worn coins may be worth much less. The reverse side of the 2006 penny features the Lincoln Memorial, a classic design that many collectors appreciate. On error coins, the reverse is usually normal, but the magic is in the obverse. Some collectors also look for die errors, such as doubled dies or misaligned strikes, which can further enhance the coin's value. When it comes to investment coins, rarity plus condition plus demand equals big value. The 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny checks all these boxes, which is why collectors are willing to pay over $20,000 for a single coin. Now, you may be wondering how such a coin could even be produced. The answer lies in the minting process. Coins are created in large quantities using automated machines, and sometimes errors slip through quality control. In the case of the 2006 Lincoln penny, it is believed that a small batch was struck without the mint mark due to a production oversight at the Philadelphia Mint. Such oversights are incredibly rare because the U.S. Mint has stringent procedures to ensure consistency. But when they do happen, history shows us that these coins can become the crown jewels of coin collections. Collectors should also be aware of how to authenticate these coins. Since the 2006 no mint mark penny is so valuable, counterfeiters may try to alter ordinary pennies to appear as if they are no mint mark rarities. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can certify the authenticity of coins and assign a grade based on condition. Certification not only protects buyers but also significantly increases the value of the coin on the open market. For anyone serious about investing in rare coins, certification is a must. Let's talk about the market. Rare Lincoln pennies have been gaining attention in recent years as modern collectors recognize the potential for value growth. The 2006 no mint mark penny has been sold at auctions for prices ranging from $10,000 to over $20,000. Depending on the coin's condition and provenance. Demand comes not only from collectors of Lincoln cents but also from investors seeking tangible assets that appreciate over time. Coins like this one are often referred to as retirement coins because they can be life-changing in value. It's also important to know how to preserve and protect such coins. Handling is crucial. Always use cotton gloves or hold coins by the edges to prevent oils from your fingers from damaging the surface. Store your coins in protective cases or holders to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Temperature humidity, and exposure to air can all affect the long-term condition of a penny. Collectors who take the time to properly store their coins often see higher returns when they sell them in the future. Another fascinating aspect of this coin is its potential as a gift or family heirloom. Imagine passing down a coin worth over $20,000 to the next generation. Beyond its monetary value, it's a piece of history and a tangible connection to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the evolution of U.S. currency. This is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such a beloved hobby, blending history, artistry, and investment. If you're looking for one of these coins, the best places to check are coin shows, reputable dealers, and online auction platforms that specialize in rare coins. Be cautious with any deals that seem too good to be true, as the market is competitive and mistakes in authentication can be costly. Joining a coin collectors club or online community can also provide tips, insights, and alerts on upcoming sales of rare coins like the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Networking with experienced collectors is one of the best ways to learn and protect your investment. In summary, the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a modern rarity that defies the ordinary. With its estimated market value of $20,847, it demonstrates how even a humble penny can become a life-changing treasure. Its history, scarcity, condition, and the thrill of discovery make it one of the most exciting coins for collectors and investors alike. Remember, spotting this coin requires a sharp eye, attention to detail, and knowledge of what to look for, but the payoff can be enormous. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the story of the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that valuable coins can be hiding in the most unexpected places, including your own change jar. Take the time to examine your pennies, learn about mint marks and anomalies, and consider joining the world of coin collecting. It's a hobby that is as educational as it is potentially profitable. Every coin has a story, and this penny is no exception. It's not just a piece of metal, it's history, investment, and excitement all rolled into one small, shiny disc. So, as you go about your day, keep an eye out for the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. With patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck, you could uncover one of the most valuable pennies of the modern era. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the rarest Lincoln pennies, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories. Stay curious, keep collecting, and who knows, your next pocket change might just be worth a small fortune.